Hey guys, this is Jill Morris coming back at you again today, and I am coming to you because we need to clear up a misunderstanding. This is an understandable misunderstanding, but we have to clear it up, and I want to clear it up today. Before I get started, let me just introduce myself. If you have not followed me or have not been to my website, I am Jill Morris. I own and operate a public relations company based in Research Triangle Park in North Carolina. My company primarily serves nonprofits. I provide internal and external communication strategies for nonprofits, thought leaders, social changers, but primarily for nonprofits. All right. And I'm also the founder of the North Carolina Triangle Nonprofit Society. 150 members of mission-driven nonprofit professionals who are on a mission to serve their communities. All right. So over the last couple of weeks, we've had this discussion. I've had a lot of the society members contact me. A lot of them are startups, and they are trying to establish their nonprofits. And so, and I've heard this over the years. I have been working in some type of capacity with nonprofits for almost close to 20 years. And so this misunderstanding comes up a lot, and I find myself having to explain this a lot. So I brought this to the public because I'm bringing it to the public because I think that if, in my circles, if this is coming up, I'm sure you have this concern as well. So the misunderstanding is that nonprofits have to be a 501c3 in order to be a nonprofit. Is that true? The short answer is no. All right. So a nonprofit is your legal structure. It is what you file with your state. When you come up with this brilliant idea to have a company that's going to be a nonprofit that's going to serve your community, you have to establish with your state, with your Secretary of State, as a corporation, and your corporation on that paperwork is going to ask if you're going to be a nonprofit or for profit, and you'll put a nonprofit. So legitimately, you are a nonprofit. Legally, you are a nonprofit. The difference between a nonprofit and a for-profit is that any income that comes into your nonprofit or into your company, it is turned around to go back into the mission of what your stated purpose is for your organization. So as with a for-profit, any profits or income that's coming in, some of that can be invested back into whatever. It can go back into the company. It can go into profits. It can go into the founder's bank account. But unlike a nonprofit, any money or any income or any in-kind services or products that are coming into the company, into the organization, it has to go back into serving the mission. Let me just say this. Yes. Staff can be paid. The executive director can be paid, and they can be paid great salaries if that income is coming in to the nonprofit. A part of going back into the mission and serving the mission is paying staff. So you don't have to worry that, if you're the founder or the executive director, that you have to be short an income. That is not true. If you have the financial capacity in your nonprofit to pay an executive director equivalent to what other nonprofit executive directors in the area are getting, then you have the right to do that. Legally, you have the right to do that. All right. Hope you understand that between a nonprofit and a for-profit. Okay. 501c3 is a tax exempt status. That simply says that any income or any goods or services, in-kind donations that are coming in, they can be a tax write-off for those donations. Whoever is giving it to you or whatever entity is providing a donation, they can write that off on their taxes. And that's for the donor, because if you are a company, you as a business owner or as a business, you already have certain amount of tax exemptions that you can claim as a business owner. So the 501c3 status basically is a benefit to the donor. All right. And also a lot of if you're going for grant funding, I know a lot of government funding, certain grants, they require that you are a 501c3 tax exempt organization. So your tax exempt status and to gain the tax exempt status, you have to file that with the federal government, the Internal Revenue Service, the IRS. As with your nonprofits legal structure, you file that with your state. Again, you file that with your state. So you file your tax exempt status with the federal government, your 501c3. Now, most organizations, they are up and running as nonprofits for years and years before getting their tax exempt status, their 501c3. One, because a lot of organizations, especially startups, they do not have the money. It's about $800 now to apply for your 501c3 status, as well as there's about a year processing wait. I've had several clients, they're still waiting. I had one client that put in an application in 2012, and they're still waiting. And that's another thing. You got to make sure you have everything together when you apply for your 501c3 status. Your board of directors is a heavy hitter, so you want to make sure you have that in place. So how can you operate if you do not have a 501c3 status? Can you still take donations? Yes, yes, yes. The main thing is you should disclose that to your donors. I suggest that you put a clause or a disclaimer on your homepage of your website. This organization is pending 501c3 tax exempt status. You should never ask for a donation without disclosing that you are in the process of getting your 501c3 status, the application is processing, or you do not have it yet, or you do not have one at all. Again, you can still be a nonprofit. I know for me personally, there are several nonprofits that I donate to that does not have a 501c3 status, and I don't donate necessarily to get a tax write-off. I just don't. And that includes, my tithes and offerings at church. I don't do it to get, to write it off. And so if you do not have a 501c3 status, do not fret, because there are people out there that will donate to your nonprofit because they simply believe in your mission and they understand the parameters that, that surrounds getting a 501c3 tax exempt status. All right. So another way to get around if you don't have it, one of the biggest ways that a lot of startup nonprofits, what they're doing is they are partnering with established nonprofits that have the same mission or that their missions align with each other in order to accept donations where donors can get a tax credit for. And so those established nonprofits who are partnering with you, in order that you get a donation, they are considered your fiscal agent. So if you want to go that route, you can definitely, I always encourage that. I just say be sure and be careful of the organization you're partnering with. Make sure you do your due diligence, make sure you research, make sure you understand what their mission is and if it aligns with yours, and their reputation of collecting money. That is key. That is so key because the donor will actually be making a donation to their organization, and in turn that established organization will be making a donation to your organization. So you want to make sure you fully understand the partnering agent, the agency or the fiscal agent that you will be partnering with. Also, please keep in mind that an established organization that will serve as your fiscal agent must be in business, must be a nonprofit, and have their 501c3 status for at least 5 years. Okay, I think that is it. If you have any questions or concerns, or if you need personal one-on-one coaching in establishing your nonprofit, or if you need personal coaching to get the word out, get the message out about your mission or your cause, please feel free to contact me, Jill at jmorrispublicrelations.com. Please peruse my website, jmorrispublicrelations.com. You can call me, you can email me. And if you are in the Raleigh-Durham area, I invite you to join our society. Again, we are 150 strong, and we're making strides. We're changing one community at a time. All right. Thank you. I'll talk to you in a few days. Bye-bye.